Okay, we just finished up with area and perimeter of two-dimensional shapes, and now we're going to move on to solids, which you can also think of as 3D. So everything we do now is going to be 3D shapes. This is all going to be a review today of words and shapes that you've seen before. So we're just going to get some vocabulary down real quick. So a three-dimensional figure or a solid can be made up of flat or curved surfaces. So it's important to note that we can have curves on these. The parts of a three-dimensional solid are called a face, which is basically any of the flat surfaces, whether they're curved or they're flat, an edge, and a vertex. And these are all terms that you've heard before, so we're going to move kind of quickly through this. Okay, our first example is picture you see to the right here. This is a type of three-dimensional figure. It's one that has two parallel congruent polygon faces called bases. So it has a top and a bottom. It could easily be drawn sideways where it looked like that was one side and that was the other side, but it's always going to have two parallel congruent faces, and those will be called the base, and this kind of shape is called a prism. Okay, the next kind is going to have two parallel congruent circular bases. That looks like this, like a can or a barrel or a tube or a pipe. That's going to be called a cylinder. Remember, prisms and cylinders have two bases. Okay, these bottom two shapes down here just have one base. So any three-dimensional shape with one base is going to always have triangular faces because they're always going to go up to one point, common vertex. That's called a pyramid. And the last one you see, I'm sure you know this one, has a circular base and it has a curved surface connected to the base that meets at a vertex at the top. That's called a cone. So the hardest part with these is not naming this kind, it's recognizing which kind you're dealing with and then knowing which formulas to use. So other prisms and pyramids are named for the shape of their bases. So we don't call everything just a pyramid or a prism. We have to name them by what kind they are. So we look at this. We have a base here and a base here. Those are triangles. So this is a triangular prism. Okay, we look at this one. We have a base here and a base here. That's a rectangular prism. Okay, here we have a pentagon here and a pentagon on the bottom. So that is a pentagonal prism. And here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides on our base. So that is a hexagon on the top and the bottom. So that is a hexagonal prism. Okay, and the same thing works for the pyramid. So our base is a triangle, so triangular pyramid. And these are harder to draw than they look. So you're going to get plenty of practice at that. Rectangular base, so rectangular pyramid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pentagonal pyramid. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hexagonal pyramid. So those are some shapes that you're going to need to be able to name, and when you see them in a word problem, be able to recognize and maybe even draw one of these pictures. So these are tough. These pentagonal pyramids and triangular pyramids, they're not that easy to draw, so we're going to practice it. All right, classify. You're going to have test questions that say classify, and you're going to come up to me and say, I don't know what that word means. And I'm telling you right now, classify means name. Okay? Classify means name it. So we look at this, it says name it. Well, first off, we can see that it's a pyramid, right? Because it has one base. So it's some kind of pyramid. Then we look at the base, because that's how we name a 3D solid. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. So this is a pentagonal pyramid. Classified. Now name the vertices. Okay? That doesn't mean name them like Fred and Becky. It means name them. Look at the picture and name them. So the vertices are the points. So there is point A, B, C, D, E, and F. So those are the vertices. You name them out just like that. Edges. Okay, when you look at the picture here, this is an edge. The edges are the segments that make up all the sides. This is an edge. Okay, this is an edge. All these line segments are edges, so we're going to name them all. So we'll do FB, FC, FD, FE, FA, right? But we also need to do the bottom edges. So we have BA, AE, ED, DC, and CB. We just go around and name every one of them. All right, last word we're going to worry about today is cross-section. Okay, so a cross-section, just think about, is a slice. So it's the intersection of a solid figure. So if we look at this first pentagonal pyramid, the shape formed by the intersection is determined by the angle of the plane. So we take this green plane like a sheet of paper and we slice it right through this pyramid. Well, this is the shape that intersects with the paper, right? So that's the intersection of the plane and the solid figure. Identify the shape of the given cross-section. Well, when your plane is parallel to your base, the shape is the same as the base. So this is a pentagon. Okay, here's our base. Here's our other base back here. They're hexagons. Our plane is parallel to the bases. So it's going to be the same shape. Hexagon. Now we look at our cone here. This plane is perpendicular to the base, right? The base is this circle. But you can see our cross section is not a circle. Our cross section is a triangle. So you got to be careful and really think about which direction the cross section is going, because if we sliced this way, it would make a circle, right? But that's not what we're doing. So our cross section here is a triangle. And we look at our last one. Okay, we have a base up here and a base down here, pentagons. But our cross section is not parallel to those bases, it's perpendicular to it. So that cross section is going to be a rectangle. And what's interesting is this is parallel to the base. This one's parallel to the base. So it's the same as the base, right? These two are perpendicular to the base. Perpendicular to the base. So triangle is what you're always going to get for a pyramid. And rectangle is what you're always going to get for a prism. So if you can memorize these facts about how this works, these problems are nothing. They're just memorization. All right, so that's it. Complete your assignment, and we will go over this tomorrow in class. Have a great day.